Welcome everybody to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. This is Leroy. I'm Leroy today. We didn't change my name again. And then we got Zach.
I am here.
Yeah.
When did we change your name exactly?
Well, you talked about last week. We were talking about changing our name because we're wrestlers and stuff like that to get names. We were discussing that last week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no.
I was contemplating about giving our own wrestling names, and
maybe
it was a tough one to try to figure out.
maybe down the line. Down the line.
line.
All right. So anyway, a lot of stuff happening in the wrestling world. Some stuff that we're gonna bring up today that has happened in the Pro Wrestling Lounge. We'll see if we can't get those guys on here in the future to discuss these things. A couple of topics came from them today, but we're gonna start things off today with the results of Survivor Series. Leroy, I believe you have those for us.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Once again, Leroy has a list of things he has to do. Now, okay, so we have results also from last week. You had SmackDown at 4 and Raw at 2. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Who did you have in the 5-man Survivor Series match? Did you have Raw or did you have SmackDown?
I picked.
My notes are really odd, so we're not going to worry about mine. But
I picked SmackDown. You picked Raw.
So you had the complete wrong answer on that one, as SmackDown was swept out the building in a 5-0 win for Raw, which obviously had some ramifications. We'll talk about that here in a second. But how did you feel about that one? I mean, for a second there, it looked like Otis might be getting a couple of eliminations just to make it somewhat respectable on paper. But I mean, Otis had a run, but it really didn't last too long.
Well, yeah, he had a good toe-to-toe again with Keith.
Yeah.
But I was actually very shocked that they actually did that. I mean, I did not expect that to happen.
I don't think anybody ever expects a sweep in this scenario. It'll be interesting to see. I actually missed SmackDown, so I don't know if they had any major ramifications of that. I saw the Raw ramifications, and we'll talk about that here in a second.
You didn't see the quote? I can't remember who. Aaron might have put it up, or somebody, that at that time, Otis is still getting a chair whooping from Jey Uso.
Yes, apparently, and you can hear it throughout the quarantine world of the Twin Ports. Anyway, so then we had the Team Raw versus SmackDown women's match, which I only have one real issue with this match, and it was that Lana didn't get a chance to sneak in for a pinfall.
Yeah,
that was maybe. Here's the deal. I believe I said on the show Lana would be the sole survivor in this entire match. I did say
you did. You did.
I did have that. But anyway, so who did you have? All right, so I obviously had Raw. Did you take SmackDown in that? Did you take SmackDown for both the 5-person matches?
For
the women's match.
The women's, I took.
You had SmackDown?
I had SmackDown.
Okay, all right. Yes. Anyway, so no, here's the deal. The match wasn't bad. I feel like Survivor Series is always a time where you build these teams, and every person obviously gets a showcase time. They get to tag in, they get to show what they can do. Lana actually had a very good showing for a very short run there against Natalya before she was obviously unceremoniously tagged out and then told to stand, not even in the corner or even hold a tag rope. She was basically told to stand on the steel steps.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I was like, oh my god,
I thought it was great.
But yeah.
Can I also say before we move on, this is what I wanted from Nia Jax from the beginning. See, my biggest problem with this whole thing was when they made Nia Jax. I mean, look, it was a great story, but to have Nia Jax get bullied and then sort of come from under to get the title, and nothing against my girl Bliss, I love her to death, you know that. But the thing about it is that for her to be the bully, it was just a bit odd. I mean, it made sense from the idea that people who are big sometimes can be influenced by really strong personalities, little people. But it's just one of those scenarios where this is the Nia I wanted. She is a bully, which is great because she's twice the size of virtually everyone on her team. And she's treating someone like Lana, who has come across very meek and mild in the last 12 weeks. Because I mean, she's been put through a table. What, 10 of them? 10 out of the 10 out of the 12 weeks.
No, I think it was 9.
Was it 9?
Yeah, it was 9.
I just could have sworn it was 10,
9
but anyway. No. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, this is the Nia I want to see. I mean, Nia's working, and we'll talk about this a little bit later with one of the better, stronger, bigger competitors in WWE history. We'll talk about that in a second.
All right.
But I mean, this is my problem with, and we'll talk about them a little bit later, with a lot of the big guys you see in AEW. Is you've got a guy like Cage, who, yes, I loved him in Lucha Underground, and it was a different sort of idea in Lucha Underground. But you talk about Cage, you talk about Willie Hobbs, if you're JR.
Yep.
And then you talk about Luchasaurus, who I can't get off of Dark. Apparently, he's not making any more appearances on Dynamite. But
no, he hasn't. No.
Yeah, but it's like no one knows how to work as a big person now. There's no big man mentality. It's just try to do everything else everyone else is doing. And Nia is, Nia's stiff, but so is Shayna, obviously.
Yeah.
Nia is stiff to the point where, like, that's kind of what you want. It's a Walter sort of mentality. In no way am I saying she has the ring generalship
she does not.
of Walter, because we all know that's not even close to being a thing. But no, I mean, this is what I want from Nia Jax. I want Nia to be a bully, and yes, I know we ran this whole bully thing, but again, the character's developing. I mean, people are so into what's happening to Lana that they forgot that Nia got her first belt. Was it at WrestleMania, or I believe she won at WrestleMania or shortly after WrestleMania? Did Bliss win at Mania?
Ooh, I'd have to look that up to see.
Yeah.
But I think.
Anyway, you go ahead and
I'll
you want to look it up. But no, it's like, I mean, people are forgetting that she went through this emotional bullying run to get to the title, that she wept in tears when she finally won, and it was a great story for someone who had obviously been teased when they were a kid because they were bigger. It's always very funny to me, but like every movie that I've ever seen always portrays the bully as like the bigger, stronger kid, and yet in reality, in real life, a lot of times these people who grow up and they end up getting growth spurts at certain points in their life, or they're bigger, stronger, they end up getting bullied by people that are younger than them. I mean, it's a completely unique experience for them to have to go through the fact that, despite what we see from Hollywood, which is the bigger person is the bully, the smaller person has to, be the mean person in this scenario, but I digress. My whole thing about it is just, this is what I've wanted to see out of her for so long, and I like it. I mean, I don't know if you can fix the in-ring thing where she just keeps hurting people. I do find it interesting that according to storyline, Shayna Baszler is the one that hurt Mandy Rose, when in reality, and again, I think we determined that wasn't even really Nia's fault with Mandy Rose. If I remember correctly, wasn't that such a scenario where it was more so just how Mandy fell out of the ring? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it wasn't any
one person's
fault. Yeah, I looked at it a couple times, and it just like it was a bad fall that she dropped.
Okay, yeah, no, and that's fair. But anyway, do we have those results?
Yeah, it was WrestleMania 34.
Did she win it at Mania?
Yeah, she did.
Okay, cool.
And then
cool. So
a month later at Backlash,
Bliss got it back with the belt.
No, she did defeat Bliss to retain.
Yeah, but Bliss got it back at Money in the Bank, didn't she?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was that. But
all right, so moving on here. So right now you and I are tied one apiece, if I read that correctly. I've gone with Raw twice, and you're actually 0-2.
Yeah.
I was giving you too much credit there.
Yes, you were giving me a little too much credit there.
God almighty, who am I, your mother? Anyway, no.
No, she would give me the 2 wins, and she would take the 2 losses. That's my mom.
I also wouldn't be on the show if I was your mother, so that's a whole nother.
Well, yeah, I know.
That's a whole other issue we have to deal with.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, so next up was the champion versus champion match: Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. And your thoughts on that match? Because for me, it was once again perfect for what it was supposed to do. Lashley looked dominant. Sami Zayn came off as what Sami's supposed to be. And honestly, I know people are calling Sami a complainer, but I understand he's got the Intercontinental title, but Sami is really playing this character really well right now.
Oh yeah, he is. I mean, he is playing a good heel whiner.
And there was, and by the
Hate
way,
me definitely.
yeah,
You know.
and by the way, so right now we've got Bobby beating Sami, but that moment that Sami keeps pointing to, tripping over MVP. Here's why I love guys like MVP who've been around the block this many times.
Oh, yeah.
Why I love Sami from the Indies versus a lot of the guys that are in Spot Monkey Wrestling is it was close enough to where Sami can have the argument. We all know it's BS, but they made it look real enough to where Sami complaining isn't completely far-fetched.
No, it was really damn. I did see that, and I was like, oh, and I could see where Sami had the reason to complain about that. Yeah, it was so damn.
It was, and here's the thing: we all know MVP didn't do it, but they made it look so realistic that if Sami, if this was real life and Sami could get a jury to try to convince, he might convince some people that it happened.
Yeah, or instant replay. Hey,
Yeah,
check this out.
Yeah,
Boom,
no, exactly.
Overturned.
So, but no, Bobby looked strong. Bobby looked like he was supposed to. Sami got to come off with something that he can now catapult his character with. Great all around match, athletically, obviously. And then obviously how it ended was perfect for what each guy's going through. Bobby comes off the winner, which Bobby needs to look better. And then obviously you have Sami with something about that makes him the sympathetic figure in his mind. Because remember, heels are sympathetic to themselves, not necessarily to the audience.
Oh yeah, and he did that very well.
Very
on Friday.
well. Loved it. By Sami.
He did it very well on Friday.
Did I have Bobby or did you have?
You had Bobby.
Okay, so
so far
I'm up
I've
3-0.
Not been doing very well.
You didn't have to. You shouldn't have picked SmackDown.
Yeah,
I know.
I shouldn't have SmackDown.
Really not so good there. Moving on to the tag team match, we had the New Day and the Street Profits. I believe this is where you finally got me on one because
no.
Oh no.
You took the Street Profits.
I did take. Okay.
I took Kofi. I
now,
thought the New Day would
okay,
pull it
no,
off.
yeah, that's fair. Now I will say I was wrong about Big E interfering.
Yes.
Which I'm going to be honest here. It was one of those rare instances where the match was so good I didn't care.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was a match where it was so good that I'm glad there was no interference. I'm glad no one tried to run in, or I'm glad that Big E didn't make the turn there. I mean, like, to me, I liked that was one of the matches of the night that didn't really have a lot of extra story needed for it. There wasn't a lot of major promoing, although they'd been major promoing the entire time. But we really just got to see
for weeks they've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We really just got to see a great overall tag match and a very good classic type of tag match.
Yeah.
Once again, Montez Ford. How did Montez Ford get so much air? I mean, if they were in Denver, he'd be 8 inches higher.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, the light air would like get him up in there.
So good.
So yeah, I've been doing really horrible.
You had a bad Survivor Series.
I'm guessing. Well, I was throwing a rock somewhere, saying, yeah, it could happen.
Pretty much it.
But hey, I was for the women's tag or for the women's Survivor Series, I was close.
You were.
It could have happened because if Bianca would have made it in there. Yeah, there's no way that it would have ended any other way.
No. We move on to the women's title match, or the women's champion versus champion match.
Yeah, that was a wash because we both had Sasha on
we
that
did.
one. Yeah.
Sasha once again looked great.
She did, yeah.
And again, I felt like it was a different Sasha than the one we saw in the summer. If you want long-term storytelling to make sense, if you want to see the greatness in one person, that's how you do it. She was second fiddle for what, 4.5 months, easy, from like May to September, the beginning of September more so. She was the second fiddle to Bayley without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
Even though she had belts the entire time, she was clearly not talking as much as Bayley. Bayley was getting her chances over Sasha. I mean, she was second fiddle, and then you see her fight from underneath. You see her come back. You see her end a historic reign, and then she's now and again she beat the Reign. They had a rematch. Sasha goes into this match ready for Asuka to sort of use Asuka's line against her. She actually was prepared for Sasha. Well, sorry, Asuka. I apologize.
Sasha was prepared for
exactly.
Asuka.
But it's just Sasha didn't. It wasn't so quick that I just didn't believe that Sasha had that confidence. I believed in the confidence that Sasha had there.
Yeah,
You actually gave me enough for me to believe that Sasha actually thought she had a shot.
Yeah, and the way they did it, as people say, oh, it makes Asuka look weak. It didn't make Asuka look weak, because that's what would be the next person to say.
Well, but the other part,
I think it was okay for her to lose.
The other part about it is that what is this BS about people saying Asuka looking weak? Asuka had a 500-some day unbeaten streak. How does that not establish you? And here's the thing. I don't think Asuka has ever been beaten down to the point where I don't believe that she still is one of the most dangerous women in the world. Not just in WWE, but just like I mean in the world.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I enjoyed that match. I'm glad Sasha won and everything. And then we have the final one.
We have the world champion versus the world champion, which to me was a very good match. It was a strong man's type match. This, people want to talk about the short reign that Randy had. They want to talk about that these two guys in less than 2 weeks made me want to see this match. It was good.
Oh, yeah. Not trying to dog on Randy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be that good of a match with Randy Orton in
Well,
there.
the thing about it
would have been a different style.
Well, the thing about it is that Randy. Look, okay. Allison made the point earlier. I don't know if she made it during the Chronicles. We're up to 31 chapters, by the way, now. So
I'll have to catch up.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know if this was a Chronicle for her, but she said, yeah, but it's heel versus heel. Those aren't always bad. You can get one that's good.
Yeah, you can. Yes.
But for me, I just feel like Randy was not at a point that would have made sense with Roman. Randy and Roman were kind of on the same type of path. Character-wise, there wasn't a chance for a lot of, negative electricity energy there, which changed when you put Drew in there.
Yes.
I loved it. I don't necessarily want to say it harpered back to an old school territory style match. I think it was like a step above that, because you obviously had two guys that if you could take McIntyre right now and Roman right now and put them in the territories in the same physical shape they would run through anybody.
Oh yeah, they definitely would.
I mean, they're just superior in strength, conditioning, all that stuff. And look, McIntyre's a big dude that sells, but it made sense to sell here at 6'5" because Roman's a powerhouse.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And the conversation earlier with Jay, him giving him crap, saying, "Hey, you lost. Get the heck out of here."
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he's not leaving.
No,
he is going to show up in that last match.
Yeah.
And he did. And as you said, it was kind of interesting how the the low blow, the super kick without the ref being down.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing was. Look, seriously, you should have woke up the first ref. I don't know why you had a second ref run in. Because obviously the second ref was watching what was happening and knew that there was a low blow and a super kick.
Well, no, maybe he was running there after they told him and wasn't watching anything.
Well,
that's all you could say.
We're splitting hairs.
I know.
It's just one of those things where it's like, look, referees are on call. They know there's going to be times when they may have to go out there. It happened the way that it happened, but I also like the result because McIntyre gets to walk away and there's no one on Raw that can say I beat you, and Roman gets to continue to be Roman.
Yes.
Both because it was show versus show. McIntyre goes back to Raw. They kept him off of TV, which was great.
Yep.
He didn't need to be there. They're building challengers. McIntyre hasn't lost to those guys. He lost to Roman, who's not on that show. So Roman gets to go back and leave the island, and Drew gets to go back to Raw. He didn't look weak against anyone that he potentially will face. So I like the result. I thought it was great. You didn't have a good pick'em week.
Well,
but
I did get the last one right.
well, I mean, 1 out of what was it? 1 out of 5
I
looks
get-
good.
No, I get 2.
Oh, you had.
Well, yeah, the
Yeah, but there was a
sausage.
wash there. I mean,
But I picked correct.
that's fair.
Well,
Okay,
so-
all right.
Give me that one moral
You
victory.
want to split hairs and get a moral victory out of this? You go right ahead.
Oh, come on. Yeah, there you go.
I could honestly.
That's all I asked for.
I swear to you, sir, you are sitting here and you are trying to explain to me that you are trying to get a moral victory out of the fact that you got 2 out of 6.
2.
Uh,
Hey, I've
I got the same one you did. How's
I
it a
know.
moral victory when we both picked the same damn thing? Oh,
well, just I don't know.
you and your book of morals.
Well, it's kind of small.
Yeah, you think? All right. So anyway, overall, I'm gonna give it a 4.
I do agree with that.
Like
would
I
give
said,
4.
my top 3 changes. Number 1, I would have not swept SmackDown because I think people need to understand that SmackDown doesn't have the star power. Okay, here's the crazy thing to me. I think Raw and SmackDown are now we're back to the old Ruthless Aggression era days where Raw is got the names, but SmackDown has the talent to still put on a good show.
Yeah. Oh, I do agree with that. Yes.
Yes, if AJ was on SmackDown, I'd say it'd be even, but with AJ on Raw, it's
Yeah. Oh yeah.
can't. He's AJ Styles, okay? Like I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, of course.
he walked in WWE day one, and the reason why he wasn't treated like maybe some of the other old TNA guys by Vince was because he walked in and Vince was like, "Holy crap, you actually know what the hell you're doing.
Well, yeah.
You understood things." But
Yes.
but we'll talk about that a little later.
All right.
But no, I'll give it a 4. Like I said, number 1, I wouldn't have swept. Number 2, I loved Lana being the sole survivor, but I would have loved for Lana, for Jax to have gotten counted out, Belair get back in the ring, Belair run to the hard camera side of the ring, and then Lana just sneak in, roll up in front of Nia as Nia's rising from behind the barricade.
Yes.
That to me would have at least given some legitimacy to Lana was just there type of deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah. And
Well, I thought it was for what they did. I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
Yeah.
And when they rolled into Monday night,
Yeah.
where she was basking in her glory being the sole survivor,
yeah,
and then she was like, Nia was gonna kill her,
yeah.
and then Asuka was like, hey, you can get a match with me, and then how that rolled into a take match. I thought that was good.
I will get to that in a second, but number 3 for me was I would have loved to have seen Big E be a bigger part of that match, just to kind of get his run that we're all hoping for at this point. You know, just to sort of launch. Even if it's a heel, we know Big E can play a heel. We know that.
Oh yeah, Biggie Langston, he
yeah,
can do that.
yeah, exactly.
That was kind of tapped into
yeah,
on Friday, but is more of a babyface what he was doing on
that's
Friday.
Fair. Yeah, no,
So-
yeah, that's fair. But no, going back to my point there, because I want to jump on that for a second. I put in the lounge. You can check the timeline. I said it. Fuck it. Give Lana the belt. I don't care.
I did remember seeing that.
Please, that would have just been the cherry on top to an amazing 24 hours for her to have Nia sit there and be like, well, I got a belt too. It's like, it ain't the women's title belt, but I mean, but it's just, look, they're probably going to give Lana and Asuka the tag belts. I do like that. I think that's going to be fun. Look, if you're sitting there telling me that Lana can't wrestle, Lana can go.
Oh yeah, she can.
She's
yeah.
just always been portrayed as probably a better valet,
yes.
which is nothing, which is not a shot against anybody. I mean, we've sat here and talked about some of the biggest names in the history of the business. They're known for being valets.
Yeah, Mrs. Elizabeth, is number 1.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She started it all.
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah.
But no. Well, I mean, technically, I would say Stacy Keibler's career is more as a valet than an in-ring competitor because Stacy was just kind of there and had nobody to really, work with. So she was wrestling for a little while. That was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of,
she kind of had that thing where she put her foot out and stretched her leg out.
which I loved, but I mean like,
'Cause damn, she has some nice long legs.
oh god, yeah. So,
Ugh.
it was so, what I always found very funny was the fact that we turned around and there was a there was a situation where Maria Kanellis had the theme song. She had the theme song of like "She's Got Legs" by Kid Rock or something, and I'm like, why is that not Stacey Keebler's theme?
Well, that was a remake by Kid Rock, originally by ZZ Top.
Right,
Legs.
right, okay, yeah.
Legs, yes.
Well. Let's be honest. Nothing against ZZ. Love him. I mean, I love ZZ Top.
Oh god.
But let's be honest. For the Ruthless Aggression era, Kid Rock was the guy you wanted. He had also done American Badass for Taker and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
he redid that one.
Yeah.
From
So
Limp Bizkit.
Yep. But no. American, no. He took over for.
Yeah,
for
he
Limp
did.
Bizkit.
Yeah.
But no, American Badass is a Kid Rock original.
Is that one? Okay. All right.
That
all
is
right,
a Kid Rock song. I own the album, or at least I'm trying to find the album. Anyway. No. So here's the deal. That would have been the cherry on top. Give Lana the belt. Would have loved it. Didn't happen, but it is what it is. Moving forward, here we're gonna talk about something going on here. You have something for us today, Leroy. This day in wrestling history. We're gonna jump right into that. What do you got?
A little bit simple ones, and I have to look it up. The craziest story, and I can't remember what year it was. I'd have to look it up again real quick.
Yeah.
One thing, there wasn't really anything huge, but it was the fake storyline of Stephanie and Triple H getting married. That happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was probably like 15 or 20 years ago, something like that.
Well, it's got to be because they've been, because I mean, they've got to be coming up on like their 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, I think something like that. I'd have to look it up real quick.
Yeah.
But what I pulled out, there was a lot of good birthdays today.
Okay.
Yeah. First one.
Do you have Hayabusa on that?
Yeah, he is one of them. Sorry,
Okay,
I did not write that down. I didn't catch that later. But,
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, he would have been
51.
51 today. Yes.
One of the few guys I enjoyed deathmatch wrestling because again, it wasn't your typical nowadays deathmatch wrestling where it's all let's hit you with as many lights as possible. There was at least some showmanship to it. I mean, it was probably like we talked about with Bug. It was probably early days of Combat Zone Wrestling or CZW.
Yeah,
probably the early ones. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well, first one, 54 today, known as John Charles Layfield, otherwise known as John Bradford Layfield. 54 is his birthday today.
Great tag team competitor. Very good singles run in terms of a character.
Is JBL corporate.
Absolutely
Wonderful.
Fantastic. Loved it. You can't sit there and tell me that JB. And by the way, I don't know if I've said this on the show, but I predicted that when JBL finally lost that belt, that he was going to be told that you were so sure you would never lose it that you didn't have a rematch clause in. And I remember sitting in my grandfather's condo in Tucson, Arizona, the night after he lost. The SmackDown after he lost. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. The very next SmackDown, I remember sitting there watching it, and Teddy Long came out and said, "You don't have a rematch," and I was like, I predicted this. I straight up thought that. But had a good hardcore championship run. Obviously one of the boys. One of my favorite commentators. I don't care what anybody says.
I loved him too, man. He was great.
He was so good. Mauro Ranallo was not bullied by him. That was what John was supposed to do. I wanted to get that out of there. John, John's an old school kind of guy. There's nothing wrong with that. We're obviously going to talk about Taker here in a little bit about his post life in wrestling. But it's like, I mean, look, and also we have to say this as much as it is a stain on the wrestling business. A shit stain, nice little key there.
Oh, yeah.
The inspiration for the Brawl for All.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, Mr. Russo wanted to shut up Layfield, which, by the way, Jim Cornette even said when he reviewed the whole Dark Side of the Ring episode was he probably was just joshing the boys. He was probably just messing around with the boy. Because remember, Russo wanted so badly to be part of the boys that he was
God,
just,
yes.
oh my god.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
What we get next? Next two people are celebrating their 71st birthday.
Okay.
Wayne Maurice Cohen, otherwise known as Zeb Coulter or
Okay.
Dirty Dutch Mantel.
Yep.
And we love Mantel. He's great.
Honestly, the man who I have now learned years later is the reason I liked Impact for as long as I did.
Yep.
He made one of the. I'm not saying he made it, but because obviously it was the two women involved, but he helped with one of the greatest women's storylines I've witnessed in my life, and that was Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong.
Yep.
Because unlike what AEW's been doing with Nyla Rose, it was legitimate. I never once ever thought that Gail Kim could stand toe to toe with Awesome Kong physically. I knew that Gail had to get lucky in some way. And by the way, Gail Kim, may we just say, fabulous competitor in and of herself. Absolutely phenomenal.
All right. And our next birthday was 71.
Mm-hmm.
Is the one and only Jerry the King Lawler.
Ah, yes. The most decorated man in professional wrestling. I believe JR once said I believe this was when he was going one-on-one with Miz for the title.
Yeah.
JR said it, and I've confirmed a couple of times, over 150 titles.
Yeah.
In his career. Absolutely
crazy.
Phenomenal. The man has survived a heart attack on live camera, mind you.
Yep.
He's still wrestling.
Not as often.
No,
anymore. Not as
no,
often.
he's
but
still
laces
wrestling.
up
But he
every once in a while.
also has had a great commentary career. Not the best marriage life, but I mean, you and him are kind of in the same boat with that. But
Well, I think I'm doing bad. I didn't get married again, so so I'm doing one ahead of him.
You mean 6 times anyway?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, but no, he's the king.
Oh yes.
I mean, like the man, just dropping from the rope with the fist. I mean, the mystique of Jerry the King Lawler. I'm really sad that Jerry never got that really big on camera run with WWE. Jerry's career will obviously be remembered as a territory guy. That's not a bad thing by any means.
Oh yeah, in the Memphis territories, of course.
But no, Jerry the King Lawler, one of those guys that I don't think people really from this generation get it. Even from maybe the Ruthless Aggression era on, I don't think they really understand the impact he had on the business, the type of competitor he was, and really he is one of, if not the most decorated characters of all time. Is Jerry?
Well,
the
in
King
his
Lawler.
little Hollywood run with Andy Kaufman too. That was a very the Letterman incident, all the stuff with it. And
one of the greats.
The last birthday, God rest his soul, would have been 78 today. Our Minnesotan Mean Gene Oakland.
Mean Gene.
Hey, what's his birthday today?
When it came to backstage ring announcing, when it came to interviews, Mean Gene will forever be that guy.
Yes, the greatest.
Renee Young was in my opinion the female version of Mean Gene, but I think she would even tell you there's absolutely no way she could ever live up to that mantra. She could ever be that.
Yeah.
Mean Gene Okerlund was there. I mean, he was as much a part of the golden era as any of the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, anybody did an interview backstage, it was Mean Gene.
Some of the most famous interviews of all time, Mean Gene was there. Mean Gene got choked out by Andre. Mean Gene was for God's sakes, every time people, quote Hulk Hogan, it's now, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. Mean Gene Okerlund was there. He was always there. He was always there to help people. I would say for me, obviously JR is the GOAT in terms of ring announcing.
Yes.
Ring announcers and timekeeping ring announcing, that's Howard Finkel.
Oh yeah.
The Fink. And then backstage, you got it covered with Mean Gene. I mean, right there, those three guys, that is your...
Well, yeah, they were at the same... Oh, Fink and Mean Gene were
I would say
on at the same time, basically.
I would say my Mount Rushmore of non-wrestlers, it's JR, Mean Gene, Howard Finkel, and then I think for color people, you got to go with Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
I just think you do.
Yeah,
Bobby
after his
was so
managing days were
yeah,
done.
no. Bobby was so real. He was so raw. He was so authentic. And that's not to discount any of the color commentators that have ever done it. I mean, obviously color, but it's like Bobby Heenan was one of those guys that just you really believed him.
Oh yeah, I mean
back before the veil got removed, you really hated Bobby Heenan.
Oh God, yeah, I did. The one thing that Bobby did that it showed his soft side of him is when Gorilla Monsoon passed,
Yes.
and he was actually he was able to do his job, but he got choked up a little bit there, and I'm like, yeah, because they were the best friend, and they had a great
and I want to point
chemistry together too.
I'm not saying that Gorilla Monsoon couldn't also be on that Mount Rushmore, but in terms of color commentary, I gotta go Heenan.
Definitely.
In terms of play-by-play, I'm sorry, Jim Ross is the greatest living announcer, and
Oh yeah.
and I always like JR over Gorilla Monsoon. But that's not a shot at Gorilla Monsoon. That's just me saying that for play-by-play, I'd rather go with Jim Ross than Gorilla Monsoon. That's my personal preference.
There you go. And if we can add another head to that, I'd put Jesse the Body up there.
Jesse was great.
He was great.
Yeah,
but Bobby would
should have never been in charge of Minnesota, but he was great.
Wait a minute. He was honest. He was like, hey, well, he was honest. If he couldn't answer a question, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's true.
He's better than your politician.
That's entirely true.
So.
Okay, so we have some birthdays.
Yep.
Anything else that we have for this day in wrestling history?
No, that's it. That's
okay,
it. So
fantastic.
I saw the birthdays, and I'm like, wow, the lineup they had of birthdays today.
That's a big one.
It's awesome.
That's
yeah,
a big one.
Yeah.
So moving on here, we have coming up. So ladies and gentlemen, our boys from Top Flight.
Oh yeah.
We're once again on Dynamite. They finally faced the Hybrid 2, the team of Jack Evans and Helico, who obviously cut a promo on Britt Baker's segment and everything. But it was a good match. Again, I know for a fact Jim Ross would hate it, or not Jim Ross, Jim Cornette would hate it because it's very fast, very high flying, a lot of lucha stuff. But for a guy who enjoys that, and for a guy who's watched it so many times, I can follow it. It wasn't too fast for me.
No, I'm the same way. I could do it. And yeah, they said he's not a big fan.
Yeah.
He is a fan of Airwolf,
Yep.
the older brother of the two. But yeah, he does not have a very good opinion, a high opinion of the boys. He thinks they're doing well for their young age.
So just to prove to you guys that we're not necessarily always on Jim's side, we actually enjoy what Top Flight does. Despite what Jim says. But no, I mean, it was good. Jack and Angelico obviously have been a team for years. They were in Lucha Underground together. Whether they were, they weren't actually friends in Lucha Underground. They were competitive. They were competing against each other. They were enemies in Lucha Underground. But it was a good match. I always get impressed at the ability of Angelico at his size and more, and more so at just the length that he is.
Yeah, he's tall, lanky, and yeah, I mean, it's great. And as I said, I'm so happy for Top Flight, for the boys to be up there, they do a
tremendous job. They are selling. I enjoy their tag matches. They get a chance to show who they are, but at the same time, they're leaving me wanting more. I always think they're gonna win, because there's always moments where I think to myself, they've got this, and then the rug gets pulled. I believe they're 1-3 now in AEW.
Yep, they lost their first match on Dark.
Yep.
They won their second,
and then
they
lost
both
times on Dynamite.
Both times on Dynamite.
I mean, look. I mean, you can call me crazy, but I'm so burnt out by tag team matches that when I see these guys, it's refreshing. It makes me want to watch tag team wrestling in AEW more. They sell great. They're amazing guys. Facial expressions. Airwolf's got a stiff upper lip that AC/DC could sing about, and it's
yes, he does.
And it's looking like Elvis, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, go back and watch. Him get it was so overdone that it was great. But I mean, no, I mean, these guys obviously, whether or not they are doing it to the level that a legitimate teaching school like say the Performance Center or OVW back in the day,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Academy School of Professional Wrestling isn't legitimate. Ken Anderson does a great job down there.
Oh, he does. Yeah.
I mean, but to me, I look at this and I say to myself, they are doing the best job they can with the training that they have, and that's a big compliment in my opinion. That I mean, it's just in a show where I just get so burnt out by 20-minute tag matches. They're going for like 10 to 15, and it goes by quick because I mean they really do give me an amazing tag team experience.
Oh, they do.
To
And
watch.
and yes, for the second week, second week in a row, I actually sat down and watched Dynamite.
Okay.
It's scary, but it's because of Top Flight. I mean, honestly,
anything else to say from the show? I mean,
that was the highlight. Was the tag match. Really, everything else was kind of like
muddled.
And
doesn't Kenny Omega just come off as just a flippin' goof?
He right now, yes, it is. I mean,
I
will watch next week.
Okay.
It's the big title match between the two,
yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. See if he actually can pull off the win or what. So
I may have to switch the channel to AEW for that.
I'll watch it on YouTube the next day, which I'll do. But
for me, first of all, I have no idea why Taz and Cody are doing a thing.
Yeah, that thing too.
Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
It came from that ungodly, horrible yet brilliant segment that we all talked about with Bug, with Brandy and everything, and Jade Cargill. I also was so lost. This might have been no. This was 2 weeks ago. I'm just lost with the whole Jade Cargill thing. Like, I'm watching two people get held back by referees, and yet I'm watching Jade Cargill crush Brandy's arm in a chair.
Yeah.
All the referees turned one way. Jade turned the other. Brandy on the ground. And then Big Swole. Look, God bless you. You're married to Cedric Alexander, and may all love and happiness to both of you. Me, a newly engaged, man with my girl here, Allison. But seriously, I don't want to see Big Swole anymore. I'm sorry. She's not good. I don't understand why she's getting press coverage on anything, because I don't get it with her. Because the name, first of all, makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
And she is greener than goose shit. I mean, she's not to mention the fact she stepped up to Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill's a good 1.5 feet taller than her.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
They're
also
grasping at straws there. So.
Also, where the hell is Shaq?
Yeah.
Where the hell? Okay, I went from Cody getting told that you're not a giant killer because you haven't beaten my giant, who's Shaq, and then Brandy cuts the promo of a lifetime. I don't know if you've heard Jim's review on that promo.
Yes.
But my favorite line from Jim is, only Piper, CM Punk, Foley, and Brandy for promos for greatest pro. That still gets me, mostly because Brian Last just loses his ever-loving mind there.
Oh, God, yes, he did.
But no, look, now it's Taz and Cody, and Cody gets choked out by the manager Taz. The FTW title is there, and yet for some strange reason it's not a legitimate title. It's owned by Taz. I think that, sadly, I hate to be this guy as a former lover of ECW. By the way, there is a GoFundMe account to save the former ECW arena.
I did see that, yes.
For anyone out there who's listening, that wonderful arena, great. It's hosted so many great shows over the years. But anyway, no, but it's look, the FTW title was a very, very amazingly symbolic thing for ECW because of obviously what it represented back then. But now it's just being watered down. Everything that title meant in ECW means nothing because it's just a title that Cage. Because here's the deal: if Jon Moxley had done something to get out of that match, that you could have said, okay, Cage got screwed as the heel, then maybe I get it. Because remember, Taz had the belt because he was the uncrowned ECW heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
The problem is, Cage lost in the center of the ring.
Yeah.
Clean. So it's just you're killing the FTW title. That thing meant something, and now it's just a joke. No one's competing for it. It's not on the line, and when it is, it's what was it? Brian Cage versus Brian Pillman Jr. or something, and Brian Pillman Jr. just got squashed in the whole
Yeah,
thing.
I think that was the one that they did. So, man, if they can actually do the title and have somebody challenge him for it and actually put on a good match, then maybe. But I
And where the hell was Cage in all this?
I know it's like it plus
So Cody, so something
he's
this
gonna ring it up a pole.
Something this straight. Cody has to spend 20 minutes in the ring with a guy named Warhorse, who again I guess was at a first wrestling event a couple weeks ago. I've got nothing against the guy, but you weren't ready for prime time. Sorry,
No,
you're not. That's
no.
not a shot at you as a wrestler. I know he had a bunch of fans on Twitter, but you were not ready to be in the ring with Cody Rhodes. And whether or not you and Cody are equal in terms of time in the business, Cody Rhodes is polished. Cody Rhodes was in WWE for where he got training from at the time when Cody was there. The agents were some of the all-time greats in the history of the business.
Including his father.
Exactly. You are not on the level of Cody Rhodes at this point, so please don't give me that. But then, he's got to go 20 minutes with this guy. He gets squashed by a dude that no one has seen since he lost the dog collar match. I guess he's actually hurt, but, he's the exalted one. You can't put him on television in a sling or something? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I mean, a video package.
No one's seen him since the dog collar match, but the Dark Order keeps going.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I don't know. This is AEW fun.
God.
Where we have a couple good highlights.
This booking. Go ahead.
And Shaq was too busy. That's why he probably hasn't showed up yet.
But the NBA season's over, although it does start on December 26th.
I know.
So
He's
gotta
like,
right back to work.
I'm busy. I'm doing something. Okay, Shaq, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
And then switch. I call it a clusterfuck
Yep.
or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's no better word for it. I'm sorry.
Right.
It's a complete clusterfuck.
People love, what kind of word is that? I'm like, trust me, that's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
I've walked into work like that.
Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, to sort of piggyback off that, I told you I was going to add a topic early on. But
All right.
We had a picture that I found. I believe it was from the Exposed Turnbuckle Facebook page. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to give the credit to the wrong people, but that's who I think it was. I put it in the lounge, and it is one of the I don't know if you've seen it, but it is one of the most embarrassing photos that I can muster up to find. It was legitimately put on the Facebook page. Who would win in a match between these two teams? Top picture, a picture of the Bucks. Bottom picture, a picture of the Steiner brothers.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
You did see that. Okay, good.
Yes.
Are we serious?
Some people somebody is.
Let me make this clear. You and I talked about doing a top 10 tag list. Young Bucks ain't even they don't crack my top 10. It's not happening. Because here's the deal. You want to talk about, first and foremost, we're talking about the Steiner brothers before Scott Steiner got all crazy with the roids. We're talking about the Steiner brothers. We're talking, first of all, okay. I look at you and I say, okay, all right, so I'm going to give you a couple of tag teams here, and I want you to tell me if you're going to pick the Bucks in any of these matches, okay? Steiner brothers. We already know where you're going with that one.
No way.
Harlem Heat. No.
Harlem.
No. LOD. Do we even have to?
Okay, that would be a light brunch snack for LOD. All right.
The Russians.
Oh, the original.
Yes.
Oh no, Russians.
The Briscoes.
They'd kill them.
Okay, Midnight or Rock and Roll Express.
Oh my God.
Even now, I'd take the Rock and Roll
Express. Yes, I would.
Over the Bucks.
They're kind of old, but I still would take them.
Oh my God. Okay. But I mean,
I would take the Kabuki Warriors over.
Okay, here's the deal. They're not even the best team at what they do, in my opinion. If you want to talk about teams that are a little bit more fast and high flying, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I did find it, and it was it was collar X elbow.
Okay,
that's who put that up. So we want to give
yeah.
definite credit to those guys.
No, 100%. My apologies. But no, okay, Leroy. I'm about to name a team that most people don't put as a top tag team, but they were amazing. And they're in the same realm as the Bucks. They're not even the best team at what the Bucks do. And here's why I say that. They're not even as good as Brian Kendrick and Paul London.
Ooh.
They were a good tag team.
They were. I love them.
They
guys.
held the WWE tag team titles for a very long time. They were always defending it. They were great in the ring. They were basically the Bucks before we saw the Bucks. And truth be told, they were better. Brian Kendrick never gets the credit, in my opinion, for how good of an in-ring technician he actually is. Paul London was absolutely fantastic. Paul London just wasn't graced with size. That's all Paul London's problem was.
Yeah, they both were very small, but yeah.
They're not even, honestly, they're not even as good as Paul London and Billy Kidman. I mean, let's be honest here, folks.
There we go, yeah.
But no, it's just, folks, I don't know if this Facebook page was trying to do something funny, but there were a couple of comments that actually went the Bucks' way. None of them were in the lounge, because at least in the lounge we have smart wrestling fans who can turn around and be like, so you're talking about the Steiner brothers in their prime. They were going toe to toe with Harlem Heat. They were going toe to toe with Sting and Lex Luger.
Yeah.
At the time. I mean, look, Scott and Rick Steiner, they were great. The Steiner brothers were a very athletic team. They were absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, forget beating the Steiner brothers. You guys ain't beating teams that I've been mentioning from 50 years ago.
Oh yeah, definitely not. They wouldn't even come close to any of the
Minnesota Wrecking Crew, any incarnation of that.
Definitely.
Ole and Tully. You want to talk about guys that were just thrown together? Hulk and Magnum TA were a thing for a short period of time. I believe they had a couple of matches.
Something like that.
I cannot. Oh, the superpowers.
Yep.
Of Hogan and
Macho Man.
And Macho Man. Don't even get me started on that. I mean, they can't even beat the Outsiders. You can't beat the Outsiders.
Oh, definitely not. No.
You're not beating Road Dogg Jesse James and the badass Billy Gunn. I mean, you're not beating that.
Nope.
You're not beating APA.
Oh, definitely not.
You're not even gonna beat AOP, and they can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, all right, okay. Let's take it away from the territories or WWE for a second. America's Most Wanted, those early days in TNA.
Nope,
half a dozen reigns as the NWA Tag Team Champions.
Way better than the Bucks.
That was James Storm before he was really James Storm. But I mean, him and the Wildcat Chris Harris, what a great tag team they were. Great look, great mentality in tag team wrestling. I mean, any of those old TNA tag teams back when they had the NWA titles are still better than the Bucks, in my opinion. I'm not going to say the Bucks are bad, and I'm not here to say that the Bucks have not marketed themselves greatly. But on pure wrestling talent, you ain't in the Steiner's leagues, boys.
No, not even close.
The Steiner brothers could wrestle any match they wanted, and it didn't have to be a 20-minute highlight of things they did in Japan.
Yep.
Like, you and I talked last week about the current top 50 PWI, the top 10. You look at that, and you're sitting there looking at yourself like, are they beating the North? No, they're not beating the North in a match that isn't already booked for the Bucks to win. They're not beating the Street Profits, in my opinion. There's so much more athleticism.
Oh, yes,
and
definitely.
there's a great high flyer, big man mixture in the Street Profits. New Day's a better team. The Lucha Brothers are a better team. You had obviously the Gorillas of Destiny, God.
Oh, God, yes.
In that. I mean, guys, think about the teams I'm mentioning. Are you putting the Bucks over any of the teams I'm mentioning, even some of the modern day ones? No. So you want me to believe that the Steiner brothers, who are arguably up there with tag team of the 90s, with Harlem Heat, who I think are still the tag team of the 90s, when you think about all the reigns as the WCW tag team champions, the fact they put on great matches, they were absolutely in sync team, were Stevie and Booker. No, man. I mean, Harlem Heat's a Hall of Fame tag team for a goddamn reason. I mean,
oh yeah, definitely.
It's not happening. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You're not beating the New Age Outlaws. You're not beating the Steiners. You're not beating anybody that I just mentioned. And like I said, the current Briscoe brothers are a better tag team than you.
Yes.
But You think you beaten their daddies?
Not even close.
Well, okay. One was their dad. One was obviously
Yes,
their
yes,
uncle.
yes.
It's like you ain't beating the original Briscoes.
No,
It's not happening.
definitely not.
No. So no. I mean that was my surprise topic to you, but it's like
That works.
they're not. No, can we put to bed this idea that they have a shot against the prime Steiner brothers team? Holy crap! If anyone is on the side of that, please come on the show so I can give you a little history lesson about who the Steiner brothers were.
Well, even now, I mean, Scott can still go. And I don't know about his brother well, but still, even to this day, they can still beat the Bucks.
I would take Scott Steiner with little Papa Pump Petey Williams
Yeah.
over the Young Bucks.
Yes.
But,
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's nor here nor there. Okay, so then so we're gonna move on to a quick topic here. Jimmy Rave, best known for his time in Ring of Honor, and he was in TNA for a while.
Yes, he was.
Jimmy has had to relinquish his career. I don't want to say retire because
He said he kind of retired.
he did, but the truth is I hate to say it, is that he wasn't able to retire, I guess is the way I can say it. Jimmy recently had to have, I forget which arm, but he had an arm amputated. Jimmy will not be competing in any future events. We wish him obviously the best, and it's very sad that it has to happen. Obviously, no matter how we feel about characters or people on a personal level, you never want to see anybody hurt. I mean, if Joey Ryan came back for one match and broke his neck, I don't think anybody would care. But I mean, I'm not here to really speculate on the health of anybody.
Yeah, it was as they said it was an infection that got worse. It says his left arm.
Okay, so his left
from
arm.
his elbow, and he says he said he is retiring after 21 years. I mean that's a good career for a wrestler, anyways. Like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I don't care where it is. You make it 20 years in this business, that's something. Whether or not I can put it up there with the 20 years that like Shawn Michaels had, or the 20 years that Stone Cold had, or Taker, that's a different story. But 20 years is 20 years. So our best wishes to Jimmy, and God bless him. I hope he's able to find something that he can keep himself happy with for the rest of his life. Hopefully, it will continue to go on and be a wonderful.
Be an agent or something like that.
Yeah,
no,
it'd be wonderful. I mean, like I said, you don't go 20 years in this business without knowing something about doing something right. Because I mean, yeah. Moving on to someone who is this is a sad segue, but I do like it. You have on here Undertaker. Is he done? Now, yes, a bunch of legends got in the ring and then left. However, I will say this: I have zero problem with it. All these people were here to pay respect, but at the end of the day, it's still the gunslinger. It's still the lone guy in there. And he wasn't alone.
He was not.
He was not alone. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh,
But your thoughts on the farewell for Taker? Obviously, also love the people that they got to come out to the ring. Love that Jeff was there. Jeff seems so out of place.
A little bit.
But Jeff is a big part of Taker's legacy.
Oh yeah, he is. Yes.
Obviously, the raising of Jeff's hand was a huge moment for Jeff and obviously for Taker. Because if I remember correctly, that wasn't a planned moment. That just kind of happened.
Yeah, that kind of happened. Yeah, it was ladder match and everything. Yeah. It was great match. It was emotional and everybody in the lounge. It hit me. It didn't hit me until he came out.
Yeah.
After seeing everybody in the ring like that, I was like, okay. And then they switch, and then it's just him. I was like, kind of different. And then Vince McMahon with his newly dyed hair and eyebrows. And
Vince.
I don't know.
Look. Here's the deal. I'm not gonna take this as a moment that Vince is getting too old. I'm gonna take this as how is he supposed to be in that situation? His voice was not what we're used to, but for 30 years, that was your guy.
Yeah. So it had to be Vince coming out and doing it, of course.
Oh yeah.
But as I tell everybody, seeing that happen, I was 15 when he started, and it almost was like a wrestler dying to me. That's what it felt like to me, and it was. Yeah, I was like, I'm never gonna see him again. I hear them gongs. They did the 10 bell gong.
He is arguably the greatest character ever.
Yes.
And what I find very unique is I've talked to a lot of my buddies who are no longer wrestling fans, but they know who Taker is.
Oh yeah, everybody knows
And
who he is.
it's interesting when I tell them that, oh, the last year of his life, he's finally broke character. He's finally doing interviews. He's finally talking about things. He's finally telling stories. And they're more intrigued in that than anything else because remember, 30 years, really 29, but you get what I'm saying. 30 years he stuck to one person that wasn't even himself.
Yeah.
30 years he gave into a character. Because remember, folks, you have to understand something. When Ric Flair retired, Taker came out in character, off camera. You have to understand that when all the wrestlers came out to thank Edge, Taker was not there. When all the character, when Eddie passed away, Kane was there, Triple H was there, Real Emotion, Taker wasn't there.
Yeah.
You sit there and you think of every Hall of Fame. We said thank you to the cornerstones of our childhoods. Wasn't there. He's backstage.
He was at one. Mooney, when they put Paul Bearer in the Hall of Fame,
yes, obviously.
that was the only time he has ever made an appearance at the Hall of Fame as the Undertaker.
Yep. From the mystique of the microphone without the symbol, which was always something that he obviously lived with.
Oh yeah.
Gene has said it best from the lounge. We really didn't get prime match Taker until probably about the Gunslinger.
Yeah.
He wasn't even that when he was the American Badass. But the character still has persevered for 30 years. There's still moments that we remember. The first time the eyes rolled in the back of the head.
Yep.
The him carving the caskets. I mean, everything that he did in his career, we still remember, whether or not the actual matches were any good. Because obviously, we can all take the Giant Gonzalez thing and probably throw that out the window.
Yeah, that was a horrible one.
That was just hard to see. But no, I mean, from the streak to the fact that this is a guy who could have easily tied Ric Flair and nobody would have said boo over it, but he didn't come close because he didn't need it.
Yeah, he was the one guy. He's one of the few guys that's like, hey, he had his title runs, but he really didn't need him because he was bigger than that title.
He worked hurt so many times, and yes, and I'm not saying that not everyone's doing that. They're always hurt, but I mean, he was 6'10", 300 some pounds, and he still gave you the Undertaker.
Yep.
Even when even though he says he doesn't remember anything about the match with Brock, something took over inside of him spiritually that still gave me a decent, good match against Brock.
They've been doing it for so long, it just comes natural. It doesn't.
Well,
even phase them.
It's interesting. So we always joke around. Me and my buddy Tony. Tony is blind as a bat without his glasses.
Yeah, I'm almost there too. Yeah.
Just like completely blind as a bat. Can't read his hand in front of his face. But as long as his feet are set up, he can still bowl strikes. He can still bowl a 300 without his glasses. It is
crazy,
unbelievable that it just comes down to muscle memory at that point. And but remember, you still have to look down at the lane. You still have to look at the arrows. You still have to read the boards. You still have to read where the ball is spinning. And he just goes up there and knocks it down like it's no one's business.
That's crazy.
And that's what I think about. Yeah, it's a weird, an analogy, bowling to wrestling, but I mean, it's the same basic premise. Is just, you do it long enough, it just becomes second nature. The guy will never be able to walk correctly again. Obviously. Not that Mick has walked correctly from the day he got tossed off the cell, but that's a whole other story.
They're still talking about that still.
Yeah,
yes.
but see, that's the thing. There's not a single era, or at least character change might be the better statement to make, that we don't remember about Taker. I'd say the least remembered version is the Ministry,
Yeah.
but you still remember the Ministry.
Oh yeah. You see him in a dress up. Oh, that's when he was Ministry.
Yeah.
You know exactly what
But
it
that's
was.
probably the lowest of the low in terms of, for me at least, in terms of what his character evolved into. But the original Taker was scary. The American Badass is obviously a change that had to be made so that he could continue to be on the show, but he kept the name and he was the same guy.
Yeah, it's like the American Badass, the big red machine.
Yeah.
He used
Yeah,
that. So
it
worked. It worked.
I did like Kane being in character for him. I also don't look, everyone else coming out the way they did, fine. I don't care. It was what it was. But I didn't want to see Mayor Kane. I wanted to see.
And that's what I was working.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, is Kane coming
Ladies
out
and gentlemen,
or Mayor of
ladies and
Knoxville?
gentlemen, the Mayor of Knoxville County, Mr. Glenn Jacobs. No, that was Kane. Great, loved it. Fantastic. To answer the question that we started with, is he done? I'm gonna say yes, but remember, we all can't deny the fact he works for a man named Vince McMahon, whose favorite line is "Never say never."
That is true. Yeah,
Vince McMahon has gotten Vince McMahon, just to list a couple of things he's done that I think people thought were impossible. He got Mike Tyson in there. He got Floyd Mayweather Jr. in there. He's gotten Tyson Fury in there.
Yeah.
That's not just boxing things there, but like Vince McMahon has done a lot more than I think people don't realize was thought unthinkable in the world of wrestling. And at least he didn't make a second-rate actor who was married to a better actress on Friends a world title. That's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think he is done. I think the next time that we will hear his music or anything is gonna be when they put him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's it. But I have enjoyed. I haven't watched all of the specials they have on this last month. There's so many of them.
Too damn many of them.
But I did.
You have to take a full day off to get through half of it.
That is true. I watched some of them.
Yeah.
The Brothers of Destructions. I thought that was a great one. Definitely watched that. I did watch the Stone Cold Session Part 2 with the Undertaker.
One of the few guys. Well, no, actually, I shouldn't say that because back in the days of the Land of the Giants, everyone got it. He knew how to work like a big man. He knew what he was. You knew he could do athletic stuff like the jumping, spinning, DDT off the ropes and all that other kind of stuff. The running with the snake eyes, we get it. But again, how do you look at that guy if you're Brian Cage and still work like Brian Cage works? That I just don't get
know.
it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
But definitely, watch it, and if you can't pay for the network, there is the free network that has a lot of that on there.
There's a good amount of
Definitely check it out. And Stone Cold, his second session, that was great. Because he asked him about breaking kayfabe, and he was like, yeah, it was hard for the Taker to do it.
Go back. I encourage everyone to go to the YouTube page First We Feast and watch his appearance on Hot Ones.
That was a very good one too. Yes,
that was good. I also liked how he got asked a question that no one else had asked him about his days in a much earlier wrestling promotion out there in Indiana. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but no, I mean legitimately. We've said thank you 1,000 times, so we're not here to do that. But I can't say he's done because it's wrestling.
Yeah.
But I also can't sit here and say that there's anyone left. You faced AJ Styles, man. I mean, people can call me crazy. AJ Styles might be Mount Rushmore caliber. He's that good. He's been that good. He's got the approval from everybody. Hogan, Flair, anyone else from those old TNA days. He's got Jim Cornette's respect. He's got Japan's respect. AJ Styles, you're never going to get higher than AJ Styles, and Taker faced everybody else.
Yeah, it was a great way to send him off.
Taker faced everybody before Taker. He's faced everybody after Taker, and he's the list of people that he's been in the ring with, folks, like, hello.
Yeah, it would have been better for a send off if he could have been in front of like people.
You know
But
what's
hey,
weird? You know what's really weird? I don't, I, I, I don't think it would have been. I get the ceremonialness of thank you, Mark Calloway, but as Undertaker, the solemnness to it,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest. I think it worked. I know Vince wanted better. I know that everyone else wanted better, but they wanted better for Mark. And to me, I still think it was better for the Undertaker that there wasn't anybody there. You know, I mean, call me crazy, man, but it fits more than him waving to a bunch of people. Remember, he broke character once in his entire on-screen career, and that's when he hugged Michelle after I think it was the Roman match.
I believe so. Yes.
That was like one of the only 2-3 times he ever broke character in 30 years. And it's just one of those things where like and you know what's weird? I know there's a bunch of memes about it. I know people have made jokes about it. I myself have joined in on those jokes. I never cared that he kept coming back even after he laid everything in the ring. I never cared. I liked having him there. It was nice. And by the way, I still think they told good enough stories to bring him back. It made sense.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I say yes, but there's the obvious break glass moment that Vince McMahon has. I think if Vince passes on the company to Hunter and Steph and Shane, I think maybe they won't use the break glass moment because I think they can find a way to move on past him. But never say never with Vince, man. I mean, Vince McMahon. Look, he like I said, he's arguably the greatest promoter and up for guy who killed the wrestling business all at the same time. But you can't say the man didn't make $1 billion with a wrestling company,
Oh God, yes.
The
best.
This is Vince McMahon, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, never say never is what he's lived by his entire life.
Yeah, it's like
your thoughts, though. I mean, do you think it's over? Really, honestly,
if Vince hits the emergency button to get him to come back, I don't see him wrestling a match. I don't see him doing it. I don't think there's nobody to wrestle. I mean, it was it. I mean,
at this point, he's at the greatest hits section of his career. He has to have a match that, and for him, it's never even been about the money.
No,
it's not a money thing for him. You don't have to offer him $2 million to wrestle one match. You have to offer him something that makes sense. That's why he did AJ. That's why Michelle was okay with AJ, because AJ made it work because he's that good.
Yes. Oh. Love that match.
Moving on to what I think was one of his greatest rivalries, at least of the modern era. Another thing that came from the lounge, Mr. James Anthony Romero, I believe is what it was. Anyway, James, I'll be reaching out to you to try to get him on the show to back this up. But James had an interesting take. Bautista was never a star.
I did see that.
James, I'm gonna have to call bullshit on you here, bro. Because look,
that's two bullshits. Because I'm gonna have to say the same.
Well, here's the deal. Number 1, 6-time world champion. Number 2, a member of Evolution. Number 3, got to be a tag team champion with Ric Flair. Number 4, had WrestleMania moments. But if there's anything that you can hold against Dave Bautista, couldn't stay healthy. It's about the only thing I can ever say about another guy who worked like a strong man. Not necessarily a big man, but a strong man. He was power personified, and he never tried to be anything other than a bruiser. That's all he ever tried to be.
Yeah, and he had great matches, against Triple H, Cena, Edge, Undertaker.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone right there. And he had some damn good match against Rey Mysterio.
He did.
You know?
Look, 6-time world champion, got plenty of time with those belts, was convincing the whole time. His music always hit, and you were like, okay, this guy means business. This guy's here to beat somebody up.
Oh yeah, even when he was starting, when he was nothing, just a valet for Devon,
Brother Devon.
brother Devon.
Brother Devon.
You know, and even then, you looked at him going, that guy could rip somebody's head off.
He also could talk. He could sell. When he was interested in what he was doing, he was great. I watched him walk away from the business to go do Hollywood, and he and Triple H still put on a pretty damn good story together. It was still a well done program.
He's become a good actor. I've enjoyed his movies, especially Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep. Yep. Done a fantastic
I love
job.
that.
Even his solo movies, Stuber's not bad if you look at it for what it is. I always say to people, I look at a guy like Robert De Niro and I'm like, okay, I see him in a Godfather, Goodfellas type of role, and I look at him and say, he's one of the greatest actors of all time. But then I go watch him do a smart family comedy with Anne Hathaway, and I'm like, holy crap, it worked.
Yeah.
And it's just like, look. I mean, Robert De Niro could do comedy as well as he did the dramatics. He made me believe he was a mobster just as much as he was an old guy, semi-retired, lost his wife, and now is working for a 26-year-old upstart, millionaire type woman. And he was great. And
yeah.
Dave's got a very successful career afterwards. I don't think that you really get much of a successful movie career unless you were a star at that level. And again, it's like we have to look at his in-ring work. When he was healthy, he was a star. Also, I hate to say this, Warrior was not really hurt, but Warrior was a short-term guy.
Yeah, he was.
Warrior was really the guy that opened the door for the 6-7 year run guy who turns around and it's over in the blink of an eye. Wrestling goes by so quickly to me that I forget how long the Four Horsewomen have been up here. I forget how long it's been since the Women's Revolution began. I remember when they did the Women's Revolution. I think they just did like the 10-year anniversary of the Women's Revolution, or like the 8 or 7 years it might have been.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, it's been that long.
Oh yeah. I mean, I even look at stuff older. It's like, oh, this happened in 93 or 94. And I'm like, really? And it did not seem that long ago.
You forget, Hogan slamming Andre is still very fresh in my memory, and there's no way I saw it live. It was way before my time.
Hey, and I was quite a little guy when that happened myself.
Yeah,
so.
but no, wrestling goes by so quickly that you think about it, 7 years is nothing.
No, it isn't.
You last 7 years in this business. Now, obviously, not every 7-year career is going to live up to what Warrior had. Warrior was absolutely phenomenal, character-wise. But I mean, look. I've seen people that have had 30-year careers and didn't come close to what Shawn Michaels did or Triple H, and they have no business being mentioned in those conversations. And then I've seen people who have had a career like Warrior, who I still talk about Warrior in the category of Hogan and Bret Hart and all these other guys, and it's like. You stack their career up next to each other, they're not even close, but the aura was there.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Bautista was a star. He was built like a star. He had a power game like a star. His spine buster was still one of the stiffest ones I saw, but damn, did it not look like it hurt.
Oh, God, yeah.
There wasn't a lot of snap to it, but god damn, it looked like he just drove him away. When he developed the spear, I thought it was great. The Bautista bomb was something that power bomb made me legitimate. That was one of the last power bombs I believed in. Up until KO had the pop-up power bomb.
He's doing good with that. Well,
now it's the stunner, because obviously with the knees you don't want to do the pop-up as many times as he does. But
yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean.
Over to you with more analysis of the fact that apparently Bautista was never a star.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap that guy. No, I'm not gonna slap him, but yeah, I would have to totally
James is a good dude.
try
man.
BS with him, saying
He just has a take where I'm looking at myself like,
if he did it because he felt like that, or he did it
6 world
to
titles.
try to get a reaction on
He
everybody.
had to.
You know, if he did that, hey, that's fine. Get the reaction out of us, get us talking and
Here's
stuff like
the deal.
that. So
I don't care what we have this conversation about. You want to call it race, religion, creed. I don't care. Vince McMahon don't really give the title to just about anybody. And by the way, I say that, and all the people that are going to listen to me are going to pull up Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal made sense at the time. I don't care what anybody says. It was actually a good run. Was it a great run? No, but it was a decent run.
oh yeah, it definitely was. And yeah, no, Batista, I enjoyed him and loved his character ever since he's been in. I mean, the Evolution run with that and his solo run and everything. I mean, yeah,
It was good.
he's a star.
Yeah,
He
no.
definitely is.
Yeah, star.
No way around it.
Star all day, and James, we'll be sure to tag you when Leroy posts this. But I would love to get him on the show and just be like, were you serious? Was this a reaction thing? What is your legit take on it? Because I'm sitting here looking at myself, and I'm like, the dude had feuds with Taker and Triple H, and those were guys who didn't work with just anybody.
Oh yeah, that is so true.
You always, I mean, I always remember Triple H talking about working with Warrior and just being like he was the most unprofessional guy in the ring I ever saw. So Hunter's not going to work with with a nobody. I mean, remember he got rid of Mark Jindrak.
Yeah.
Because he just didn't necessarily like his attitude. So I mean, Hunter's not going to work with just about anybody. Everyone can be like, oh, he was handpicked. He almost wasn't in the group.
Yep. Almost.
Mark Jindrak did promo shoots with these guys. And it's like, you ain't the guy. That's Dave. But again, Dave's injury history is probably what derailed a lot of what he did.
Yeah, it did, and that could happen with the best of them. I mean, unfortunately.
And remember, and this is weird, but it's coming from an episode of Total Divas. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Way back when Brie Bella was talking about Daniel is now the champion. So he's not wrestling 5-10 minutes a night. He's wrestling 15, 20, 25 minutes a night. Takes a toll on you.
Yeah, it does.
Okay? We can't all be a Shelton Benjamin or a Bobby Lashley where you look at them and be like, how the hell are you two over 40? Bobby's near 50. He still looks the way that he does.
Yeah. Oh.
We can't all be Bobby Fish and be like 45 years old and still look about as young as Adam Cole feels. I just, goddamn.
Well, you put the Miz in there too. He still is going good. Not being hurt or anything. Yeah. He's a good worker.
Not gonna
definitely.
Wood for that. But no. It's just, if I can play devil's advocate for James for a second, was Dave ever a consistent star? Not to the level of a Shawn Michaels or a Triple H or even a Ric Flair. Or a Miz, but,
yeah.
Miz's consistency is something you have to look at. And
definitely.
But I mean, that's about the only negative that I have.
Yeah,
for
and that's it.
Dave was he got hurt a lot to points where he was on the shelf. But every time he came back, the roof went off the damn place.
Oh yeah,
every time
comes out and he has his, the pyros and he's shooting, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look. He carried himself like a star. He looked like a star. He wrestled like a star. He had the resume of a star. He's a star.
Yeah,
hands down. You're never going to convince me otherwise. You can say, oh, he was stiff. Did you ever watch Territory Days? A lot of these guys work stiff.
Oh, God, yes.
But ain't no damn way you going to tell me that dude ain't a star.
No. Can't say that at all.
No,
can't say it at all.
No. It's just not going to happen. All right. So anyway, moving on here. KO, in my opinion, has really come to the forefront, and I believe deserves a quick talking about. And the reason why I want to jump straight into that is because Kevin Owens, as we mentioned with the stunner and the pop-up powerbomb and everything.
Yeah.
Can I just say this? And you know what? I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw it right to you. KO is a gem. He is a goddamn treasure in this industry, okay? Your thoughts on that? Like,
Oh, yeah, I do agree. He has his moments where I'm like, I'm not sure about him. But then this week, going on NXT and the KO
it
showdown
was so
there,
good.
that was good. It's like, all right, you
He
mentioned his name, they
he
come out.
he fills airtime better than most people I've ever seen.
Yeah, I
he,
do.
He was like, yeah, just. I mean, it's like, look, you let the people in the ring do their thing, but okay. Interesting analogy. I had a high school teacher who was also the drama class teacher. Not drama class, but he was in charge of the drama department and
Yeah,
everything. So
yeah.
anyway, he took us all to the Guthrie Theater down in St. Paul, Minneapolis. If you haven't been there, wonderful theater, great time. They put on amazing shows. We watched A Midsummer's Night Dream.
Ah, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful play. It's been done 1,000 times. But here's the thing people forget. Shakespeare. What is the one thing that has always been done with Shakespeare's plays? And you probably studied it a lot more than I did, but I did a lot of Shakespeare studying when I was in high school. It doesn't matter if you make a version that has Godzilla and flying robots. The dialogue is always the same because you can't rewrite it.
No, you
There's
can't.
really no way to rewrite Shakespeare. And why I'm saying that is when we saw A Midsummer's Night Dream, there was a moment where the guy looked like the goat man or the donkey character, and he made a joke, and it fell on deaf ears, and all of a sudden he just looked away and was like, tough forest. And but no, it was
worked.
subtle. It didn't take away from the flow of the play. And as he said to me many times over, if you're gonna you can't rewrite Shakespeare, but you can add your own little wrinkle. But you got to be careful because he wrote his plays so intricately that to find a wrinkle in that, sign of a good cast, sign of a good actor, all that kind of
And
stuff.
that character wasn't it Pan?
No,
There was a different one now.
it's a different one. But anyway,
Right.
here's why I say that. Because Kevin Owens is sitting there, and like you said, you mentioned Johnny Gargano. He was like, Leon, I forgot to tell you. You mentioned someone's name. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, where's the music?
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, I was a little off there. And then it's like, oh, Joey, I was just explaining, Johnny, I was just explaining to him about the name thing. And it's like 3, 2, 1. Okay, maybe things are different in NXT. There's Damian Priest music, and it's like, oh, okay. And then, of course, while Johnny's yelling at Leon Ruff, Kevin Owens, by the way, this to me was as equally nutty and weird as Jade Cargill and Cody, but it was actually not unhorribly bad. It was actually good. It actually, I didn't start to like it because it was so bad you had to like it. I liked it because it was likable. But he's just sitting there he just gets another chair. Johnny doesn't want the chair. He throws it out. KO gets another one. Johnny's like, I don't want the chair. He's like, I'm just assuming I'm just assuming I'm gonna need this chair. And then Damian Priest comes out.
Yep.
He offers him the chair. He's like, bro, all respect, I'm good. And he walks away. And okay, remember what I said? Tough forest. Kevin
Definitely.
Owens walked away with the chair. And said, I don't know why I bring these goddamn chairs out here. But it's like,
Yes.
But here's the deal. It didn't steal from what was happening between Leon Ruff, Johnny Gargano, and Damian Priest. It didn't kill their momentum. It didn't make KO in that moment the star of the segment. KO has a really good ability to reinterpret Shakespeare, is what I'll say.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay? He can take something that you know what you have to do. You're the interview guy. You're color commentating that night, special guest. You're there for one night. You can't make yourself the story because you ain't going to be there. It's those three guys. End of story.
And William Regal.
Of course.
Yeah.
He's still got his quips in there. He still threw his own little uniqueness in there. And he didn't steal away from the story. I love Kevin Owens. And then, of course, on color commentary, he was great. It was funny. It was energetic. He got to enjoy himself. Kevin Owens is great on the mic. Live mic, give it to him every time. I love it. In-ring performance has always been there. Even when he was in ROH as Kevin Steen. Obviously, you know, it's interesting. I really haven't seen much of a drop off from the double knee surgery.
No, he's still going, and
He's definitely lost a little bit of weight, but that might not necessarily be because Vince wanted that. That might be because you have to do that for surgery anyway.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. But just, I mean.
Well, I said you haven't seen him on Friday. He was did Good Friday.
Yep.
And he got in the face of Roman.
Yep.
And
I
giving
heard that
him,
much.
yeah. And he's like, hey, I don't give a crap if you're at the table. I'm sick of this guy doing everything. And Jay was going around and taking out people left and right. They had a good match at the end, and KO loved it. He took him out. He beat Jay, and then he sits there with the announcer tables. He took a chair, sat at the top of the table, and says, Roman, I'm on the table right now. Warrior, come on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, from Wednesday until Friday when he did that, I thought it was great. It's going to be a great match.
Again, he has a way of adding to the show, but not distracting me.
Yeah.
Everything flows, and again, this is my personal opinion. It flows with KO. I don't get taken out of it. I can watch a 20-minute tag match on AEW, and I'm like, dear God, I forgot why they're fighting. Like holy hell. I'll watch a 20-minute talking segment with KO, and I remember the beginning monologue. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. He has the ability to work as a snarky face, but he's still a face, and then he's done great heel work.
Oh yes, he has done great heel work.
His commentary during the Timothy Thatcher match was absolute gold.
Oh yeah.
Just being like, Timothy Thatcher's got an interesting style. You know, he's in there trying to manipulate the arm and sort of try to tap people out. I just kind of kick and punch people in the face and hope it works. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Oh, I said you gotta watch.
Nothing against my boy Wade Barrett, but can we get Kevin Owens back in NXT for a couple of times, please? Yeah. Can we do that? Anyway, moving forward here. Nice little segue here. He helped set up a big title match for, ladies and gentlemen, the pay-per-view of pay-per-views for Leroy's old school love. War Games is back.
Yes.
We have a card now.
We got at least two.
We got a couple.
Or no, there's three.
We have both the War Games matches, and we have the triple threat match. And I assume it's going to be Thatcher versus Ciampa.
Yeah, probably.
As well.
They haven't fully gone both women's team yet. They only have the 4, and they don't.
I think Rhea.
I don't know if she is going to be in that or not.
No. I think Vic Joseph or Kevin Owens both said Rhea Ripley's on. I think it was Kevin Owens talking about be careful what you just said Rhea Ripley because she's on the other team. So there's that. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the women's match right now, you've got Candice LeRae with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and a surprising entrant.
Yes.
Toni Storm.
Yes.
Allison was not too happy that Toni Storm was put in the heel section, but again, I still think that if you, again, look at the long-term storytelling, Toni Storm did, and as cliche as it sounds, Toni Storm said when she first got there, it's a different Toni Storm this time around in NXT.
Yeah, and I remember, and she reemphasized that when she said it again, and it does work. Yeah. And I'm guessing, they got Shotzi, you got Rhea. Most likely
Ember Moon.
We're gonna get Ember Moon.
By the way, call it a hunch, but I think it's gonna be Io Shirai as well. Because here's the deal: they're really anyone who can legitimately challenge for the NXT Women's Title, they're already in the War Games match.
Yeah, that is true.
So why not just put Io in the War Games match? It fits. You've got an empty slot on Shotzi's team, and look, I just. There's nobody else in the division who's not already in War Games that makes sense for Io Shirai to compete in. Maybe if Tegan Nox were healthy.
Yeah, that could be, yes.
But Tegan Nox is out for a good 9 to 10 more months. Easy. Indy Hartwell, obviously, interesting story with Indy Hartwell was she was put in the back of the Gargano car, and there was another ghost face.
I did see
another KO classic moment where Vic Joseph was like, wait, there's another ghost face? And KO's like, well, yeah, didn't you notice that Indy Hartwell was on the other side of the car? Of course there was another one, Vic. Well, look with your eyes.
Yeah.
It's great, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. The one thing that's going to be interesting for me is how they're going to set up for War Games because they need 2 rings.
In the Capitol Wrestling Center?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got the room.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how they're going to have that set up when they do it.
Because remember, the advantage now goes to Pat McAfee's team.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we're not going to mention the competitors in that one because if you don't know who the Undisputed Era are or the Pat McAfee group by this point, we've already said it on the show 1,000 times. So
yes.
But anyway, so Undisputed Era has finally lost a match where they get the man advantage. So McAfee's team gets the man advantage. I think we all know that Pat McAfee was probably the interference guy.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But again, all of the other competitors, and again, I even said to myself, and because the match was so good between
yes, it was.
Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, that I forgot that all the other members were on those platforms watching the match.
Yes.
So they couldn't come help Kyle O'Reilly win the match. So again, it's an interesting scenario. What really is interesting to me is it's not Pat McAfee and those 3 former football players. It's Pat McAfee with 3 other guys who can take legit bumps inside of the War Games set.
Yeah, and I think Pat probably could do it too.
Nothing again. Honestly, I love the interview he gave about his match with Adam Cole, saying, I'd seen so many people in my position go in there and have matches, and they did what they could, and obviously hats off to the wrestlers that tried to make them look good, but he called it an embarrassment to not be ring ready.
Yeah.
I still call it the best celebrity debut match I ever saw. Kevin Federline versus John Cena. We knew that was a squash from the get-go. Kevin Federline was dating Britney Spears at that point and was hanging out with Melina and Johnny Nitro at the time, now John Morrison. We knew that wasn't going to be anything special, but Pat McAfee went out there, and I'm not going to say I'm not even going to say he was on the same level as Adam Cole, but he made it believable. Adam Cole actually had to wrestle.
Yeah. They did a great job.
And not just make somebody look good.
Yeah.
So honestly, hats off to Pat for that. Loved it. It was a great thing for him to do. But anyway, no, I mean, Pat, I still don't know, because Pat has so many other business ventures that he does so well in. Don't know if he's... Look, I feel like we're right now, there's a fine line, and I'll get your take on this in a second here. I feel like there's a fine line right now in my mind. Is Pat going to be the guy who's there and is snarky, or is he going to take a bump? I don't think he's going to take an Adam Cole through the table bump.
No, off the top. No, but is definitely
Pat,
not.
Are we setting up for Pat McAfee to take a real bump inside of War Games?
I think so. I mean,
okay.
I could see that, and it'd be interesting to, if they're going to keep the story going. They had one match, him involved with, Adam Cole, Bebe.
I would love to
I think they're going to do another one after this.
I would love, leading up to War Games, I would love for Pat to come out and be snarky, and I would love a match between him and either Roddy or Bobby.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
I've already seen him versus Cole.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes sense to go in there against Kyle, only because you built Kyle so much when he faced Finn.
Yeah.
That I think that Kyle and Adam are just on another level that wouldn't make sense for Pat to face in a lead-up match.
Yeah.
But Roddy could do it.
Definitely.
And Bobby's great. I mean, Bobby's a freak of fucking nature. There's no other way to say that. I mean, Bobby's been old since Ring of Honor was young, so I mean, it's
that is true. That is true.
But I mean, I think that'd be funny.
Yeah.
Roddy is a slower worker. Can be a slower worker.
Yeah.
Bobby is so martial arty that it's almost like he's not wrestling, but can wrestle.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that'd be a good lead up. I've seen Pete Dunne versus Kyle now.
Yeah.
Maybe Adam versus Oni or Paul.
Maybe.
Paul Birch.
What to say? Yeah.
Paul Birch. Yeah. Okay. No.
No, not Paul Birch.
No.
No.
Danny Birch. I apologize.
There we go. Yeah.
I could see Adam versus Oni or Danny. I could see that. That'd be nice for I'd enjoy that personally.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the women's match is set, the men's match is set, and then obviously there's the triple threat match, which God I hope it's Leon Ruff. I do.
It would be crazy
look,
for it to happen that way, but yeah.
Look, you can say what you want. Leon Ruff has worked his butt off since he's got there. He's taken bump after bump. He's gotten the crap beat out of him by what was his face who got hurt after he won the title from Cole? Karrion Kross.
Yeah, there we go.
Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
He got his ass kicked by Karrion Kross. He got his ass kicked by people on Raw and on SmackDown and all this stuff. And he's kind of convincing in the character that he's playing.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's very convincing. I like it. I like the attitude from it. I like that Priest hasn't necessarily gone full heel, fuck you, Leon. But Priest is kind of like, yeah, okay, maybe I didn't need to laugh as hard as I did at it. So, I mean, and Johnny is his normal self, I guess.
Yeah, or if he's going there, if Leon does it and Leon pins Johnny again, that would be.
I think it gives Damian Priest an out, but what I would like to see is Damian hits maybe the Razor's Edge, and then something happens where he has a misstep, and then Leon just falls into the cover type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Damian. You know what I think would be a good finish.
All right.
Leon does the tornado DDT to Johnny.
Yep.
And then Leon Ruff gets Razor's Edged into Johnny Gargano, onto Johnny Gargano, and then Damian Priest late in the match, obviously.
Oh yes,
Damian's tired, and after the Razor's Edge, Damian falls backwards into the second rope. I don't want to say third rope, then gets caught between the second rope, but just gets falls into the rope, and all of a sudden the referee's counting, and Damian doesn't notice until the last second.
Yeah, I can see something like that. That would be an interesting.
It doesn't kill Priest.
No, it does not.
It might kill Leon, but it doesn't kill Priest. It physically could kill Leon Ruff, and it just adds to Johnny's curse.
Yes, it definitely does,
so,
and
that's a good ending to me.
Yes.
But then again, I don't know where they're going for it afterwards. If I had control over where you go afterwards, Leon Ruff would move on to somebody else, and then Johnny and Damian would have a sort of Jericho / Orange Cassidy feud where there's no title involved, but it wouldn't involve mimosas.
Oh, thank God.
I would hope not if I was writing this show.
If it involved like some hot ladies in a hot tub.
We've already done that, though.
Yeah, but we could bring that back because that was nice.
Yeah, but we already showed that Joey Janela's girlfriend can move up past him.
Well, all right.
Of course, then again, Joey Janela's girlfriend could do better with a
He's
literal...
only this big.
Yeah. Joey Janela's girlfriend could do better with a literal monkey, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So, another pay-per-view coming up here that's going to involve some interesting scenario. By the way, can I just point something out?
Yeah.
I love that War Pigs is the theme song.
Yes.
It's such a good song. It's so amazing. It's interesting. I've been following this guy on YouTube. I don't remember the name of his channel right now. I apologize. We'll try to get it. We'll try to pick it one of these days. But he does reaction songs.
Oh, okay.
And reaction videos to songs. And he's an African American gentleman. He's clearly more into rap and stuff like that, pop music. And he started doing some hard rock songs.
Okay.
I guess the first hard rock song he really did was Thunderstruck by AC/DC. And if you ain't into that song, he even said I was like 44 seconds in and I was ready to download this to my phone. I'm like, here's the deal.
You better be.
Well, yeah, but
definitely
it was interesting because it was the opening riff with the drums, And he was like, "Okay, CDC, don't let me down." Now I'm like, "Oh, bro, it don't come down. It don't come down."
That
It
opening riff
only
is like,
goes up.
I'm like,
Oh, it's so
oh,
good. But anyway, he actually did a War Pigs reaction.
oh,
And I guess it was a fan made video because it was like an animated video to
okay, yeah,
the song
yeah.
War Pigs. But God, I just Ozzy's opening line, generals gathered in their masses like witches at black masses. The way that he says it is just iconic. The opening riff just hits. It's evil guitar.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
God,
just,
yeah.
oh my God, here's the deal, folks. Paranoid, that whole album, forget the song, the album,
Yes.
that is the moment that music became music, because that is the defining heavy metal beginnings.
Yes.
Black Sabbath invented heavy metal. There is no other. Obviously, Judas Priest is in there.
Yes, they are.
But
Yes.
Black Sabbath, War Pigs, if you don't know the song, if all you know is the opening riff that you hear on the War Games preview, go listen to the whole song because
Oh.
it is so good.
Definitely,
Love it
definitely.
so much here. And but here's the deal. It brings that old school feel because of how old it is.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
Okay, here we go. Rome life reactions. I don't know.
Rome's life.
No. Just Rome. Rome life reactions. I don't know if it might be Romy.
Okay, I'll have to look that
I
up.
hope
Definitely.
I hope I'm saying his channel correctly, but no, he does War Pigs, and it's just his reaction to the opening riff was okay. So his reaction to Brian Johnson's vocals on Thunderstruck were, "Oh damn, I ain't never heard nobody sound like that." His reaction to that opening guitar lick of War Pigs is just like, "Damn," because look, I'm a rock and metal guy. You don't get more down and dirty and evil guitar sound than Black Sabbath.
Oh
And
no, you don't.
even
No.
even now, I listen to straight up death metal Satanist music. I even listen to some music that is, I guess you could consider skinhead Nazi music. I don't, I can support the song, but not support what they believe type
Yeah,
of deal.
there you go. Yeah,
type of
definitely.
situation. But I mean, it's like, and War Pigs is still just,
Oh,
oh
God,
God,
yes.
I just get a chill thinking about it. So if I can just throw that in, God bless you for picking Black Sabbath War Pigs for War Games. Love it.
Oh,
It's so good.
That's a perfect.
And by the way, the actual story of the song fits War Games too.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just,
definitely.
It's so
Definitely.
good. So anyway, you put this on the list. I did not know about this. I did like that we were going to do this. So the Impact is bringing back the Knockout Tag Team titles.
Yes, we
And
did talk about this.
We did
like
mention
last
it.
month.
Last month we
yes.
mentioned it. They are holding a tournament. I believe you have the results of that tournament. What's the opening round matchups first of all?
Opening. Okay, we got Tennille Dashwood and Alicia against Havoc
Okay.
and Nivea. I think that's how you say her name. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Killer.
By the way, I want to point out on this show, Gene told me this past week Taylor Wilde might be back. I guess is on her way back to Impact.
Ooh. All right.
Had a Taylor Wilde had a really good Kong segment. She was sort of Gail Kim after Gail Kim with Awesome Kong. That sort of David versus Goliath fighting from above was actually a very talented young lady when she was in Impact the first time. But anyway.
Then we got Killer Kelly and Renee Michelle.
Yep.
Jordan Grace, and she didn't announce her tag partner just recently.
Yeah.
And she picked Jazz.
Actually, interesting thing. Eric, friend of the show, Eric has worked with Jazz and thinks that she is a wonderful human being. I don't see any less from Jazz. But anyway, Jordan Grace. Obviously, you enjoy Jordan, but go ahead with
I like Jordan.
Go ahead with the rest.
All right, we got Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steele, and then Team C Stars, Ashley Vox and Delimi EXO. EXO. I'm not sure how to say that.
Is this a
Team Sea Stars.
okay? Is this a situation with like Sunny Kiss
I
when
don't know. Well, it's like Ashley Vox and
Sunny Kiss was like, well, okay, because remember Sunny Kiss and Lucha Underground was Exolicious.
yeah, and it's
So
like
anyway,
EXO, and then Deanna Franzo, Kimberly, and Terry Valkley and Rosemary are the last two teams. And
we had a show actually up here in Kira Hogan was actually at it, as was Ty
Terry
Valkyrie,
Valkyrie,
who
yes.
actually is the current reigning Heavy on Wrestling Women's
Yes.
champion.
Yeah.
But
They've
yeah,
it started round one. It started on the 17th, 24th, and December 1st. It's going to be the first three for these
Okay,
matches.
yeah.
And right now, Havoc and Navira, they beat Dashwood and Alicia. They won. And
can we just stop there for a second?
Okay.
Look, I am not going to deny that WWE did not miss out on a talent involving Emma. Tennille Dashwood is her name now. But I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, have I really gotten anything out of Emma, Emmalina, Tennille Dashwood, whatever you want to call it? Have we really done much with Emma? Like, I mean, remember, she's a good talent and all, but has she really done that much since she left WWE? Really?
No, not really. Not really much at all.
She gets all this publicity and all this love from the internet, but once again, folks, this is another scenario, and this is one of those things that I disagree with Gene on is Miro in AEW. What really have these people done since leaving? Now, don't get me wrong.
Not much.
Don't get me wrong. Deonna Purrazzo has made herself into a star in Impact since she got cut from WWE. But where was the love that she got when she was cut? Why was there so much vitriol of her getting cut from NXT? Folks, she didn't do damn nothing before NXT. Then she gets to Impact, and all of a sudden she's straight to the world title picture. All these people are her fans, and I'm like, who the hell is this bitch? I didn't see a damn. I saw 2 matches on NXT with this bitch.
Yeah.
So it's just. I mean, nothing against her. When she was Emma, obviously injuries were a problem, and she was a foundational member of NXT, and she did a lot of great things, and she's incredibly talented. But really, what has she won a women's single title since she left WWE? Has she been a top women's star anywhere since she left?
No, I don't think so.
But that's my point. So that's my point. So it's just, it's not to bash on the young lady, obviously, but it's one of those scenarios where it's like every time I'm gonna hear a name of someone who everybody was appalled that WWE didn't push. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna say, okay, but if the big guys ain't pushing them, why the hell ain't nobody else pushing them? But anyway, so that'll be a sort of reoccurring theme with me is calling out bullshit on that. But anyway,
Yeah.
Moving forward here.
Yeah, it's like they had 2 match. The Tessa, Dashwood, and Lisa. They lost to Havoc.
Okay.
And their team member. And then they also had the Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steele. They beat the Team Sea Stars.
Okay.
That was the first 2 matches they had. They're going to have another one for the last ones on December 1st.
Yeah.
And that's going to determine round 2.
Can we also?
And that's to be determined.
Okay.
And the finals are going to be January 16th at Hard to Kill.
Okay. Can we be honest about something for a second? You've read names off of these women.
Yes.
We've talked about them. We've seen a lot of them. We know a lot of them. This is fine. And what I mean by this is fine is a women's tag team title. Look, your women's division, your knockouts division, it has a very good history. It has a very good lineage to follow, and there's good talent, and there's names, and there's quality to where I can justify